Welcome to the Porecast. I'm your host, Carly Harmson. As a licensed master esthetician with nearly 2 decades of experience, I feel confident to meet you here every week to educate about the latest trends and must-have products, as well as to decode the science and demystify the overwhelming world of skincare. Whether you're a wide-eyed, curious beginner or you're a veteran skincare pro, this is the podcast for you. So grab your favorite face mask and discover with me someone who's not only a skincare guru, but also a card-carrying member of Skincare Obsessed, just like you. Get ready for this episode of the Porecast, starting now. Hello, how are you today? I am so excited to kick off my podcast, something that I have been dreaming about for years, and like many before me, and probably a lot of you out there too, just haven't had the courage to do it. So here I am, ready to kick it off and put myself out there. I just want to start with a little introduction. Maybe we could even call it a Skintroduction. You can definitely count on a lot of cheesy puns for me moving forward. But my name is Carly, and I am a licensed master esthetician. Yes, in the US, there's a few states that have that higher level of license known as master, so I'm not self-proclaimed master. It is actually a legitimate license that we obtain through education, higher levels of hours and training, and we have to maintain just like any other professional license. Anything from a nurse to an electrician have to have these state licenses and have to maintain and renew them regularly. So I am not self-appointed or self-proclaimed master esthetician. I just am. And I have been licensed since, 2005. I started my training actually in 2002. But in between there, got married and had a baby. I did a little break and went back for night school and all that good stuff. I have been in the industry for well over 20 years, and I have been licensed almost 20 years. So yeah, I reside in the state of Utah, which does have that master aesthetics licensing, and I had a great time in school, although I didn't learn anything. The licensing requirements, the testing requirements, the education requirements that are there now definitely was not the standard when I was in school in the early aughts. So I learned a lot in the real world, as many estheticians do after education, but there was no such thing as laser education or certification. There was no real estheticians that were assisting dermatologists or plastic surgeons. It was just, the industry was so different back then, and I hope to share more about that throughout the duration of the podcast. But yeah, so I have operated under a different name for a lot of my career, not like it's an alias or that I'm a criminal or something, but I had a previous married name that many people who have been in any of my guest presentations or lectures over the years might actually know me as. So as a remarried woman, I am known as Carly Harmson, previously as Carly Warburton, and what is still found on my license today. So I just thought I wanted to keep this episode really, really brief because we're not really here to talk about me. I just want to kind of set the stage as to why, with a million podcasts out there, why I think I have something to bring to the table. And a lot of that is just because of the years of experience that I've had in a lot of different avenues, but also because, all of us have our superpowers, our gifts in life. And mine, I truly feel and have been told by many people over the years is teaching, is educating. And so I hope with this podcast I can not just educate, but edutain, bring a fresh new perspective that's fun and also easy to comprehend for all of you that may be tuning into this podcast. I want to share a little bit more about my why for the podcast, but before I do that, I wanted to do something different to kind of get to know a little bit about me and maybe why you should trust me as a voice in this space. So we're going to play a game, 3 truths and 1 lie. It's really cheesy. It's what like in corporate world you do. It's like an icebreaker, which interestingly, some of my aesthetics experience has been in corporate world. So we're going to do it rather than me just chatting about myself. I'm going to name 4 different, or I'm going to say 4 different statements. You're going to maybe think to yourself, which one of these is a lie? My first job out of aesthetics school was as a national educator for a beauty brand, and I was only 20 years old. Here's the next one. I did virtual skincare consultations, virtual, before, for those of you that can't see me, quotation fingers, virtual, well before the technology boom that we are in now. So this was in the 2000s. We didn't have video calls or video conferencing like Zoom. I've taught thousands of estheticians or soon to be estheticians, students in school over the course of my career. I'm currently an educator and representative for a large professional skincare brand. That's the statement. So think about that and we'll come back to it and I'll share a little more with you. My why for starting this podcast is because I have educated in every other medium through social media, a little on TikTok. I've dabbled here and there, YouTube, dabbled here and there. And then, pre-COVID, a lot of in-person trainings and seminars. I feel that, my ability to communicate through my voice is something that I've been drawn to that I haven't really explored, of course, in the form of podcast. And it's something that's been really calling to me for years. But of course, as with any medium, it's always scary to put yourself out there. I really wanted to be a voice in kind of the insanity that is the beauty space. There's so much happening out there and it can get overwhelming. There's beauty influencers, there's TikTok trends, viral skincare TikTok trends. There is your esthetician, there's big marketing through big brands that are really powerful. And it can be really hard to discern what is legitimate when you're having your favorite influencer slinging skincare. How do you know that what they're saying isn't talking points provided them by the company? How do you know that they actually have used the products and have seen results? And the reality is you really don't. To be educated, informed as a consumer, if you are interested in buying skincare or want to understand what's the best for yourself, or whether you are a skincare professional trying to be informed and be at the top of your game, it still can be really overwhelming. Speaking to like the esthetician, there is an interesting thing that's happening in education postgraduate. So after you've got your license, where does all the education come from generally, especially the accessible free education? It's coming from skincare brand reps. There are certain talking points that these reps are coached or even required to stick with a script in order to sell product. That's the bottom line. That's what they're trying to do. It can be hard to discern that information as a professional. So that's where I hope I can come in. And I really want to come in with evidence-based information. I spend more than a significant time perusing through medical papers and studies, and also have a lot of anecdotal experience and preferences too. We all have different philosophies to skincare. I hope to bring all of that in this podcast. As always, invite you to whether you are a beauty fan, an aficionado, or whether you're a licensed professional, to take what I say and determine or discern yourself what you think, where the truth lies. So I will always come to this podcast with the best information I have. I really hope to bring value that way, and then you can take it from there. I'm really excited to be able to continue on and have a lot of fun things planned in the pipeline, and I hope that you'll continue to join me. I want to get back to my 3 truths and a lie. So that was my first job out of aesthetic school was as a national educator for a beauty brand, that I did virtual skincare consults before virtual was a thing, that I've taught thousands of estheticians or soon to be estheticians, that I'm currently a product sales representative for a skincare brand. The truth is that they're all true. I want to bring to you the truth, to be able to cut through all of the craziness and nonsense out in the beauty world. Those things are all true of my almost 20-year licensed career, more than 20-year career. I'm a decent person to be able to bring this information to you moving forward based on some of the experience that I've had. Thank you so much for following, for liking, for leaving a comment wherever you listen to podcasts. It is much appreciated. Encourage you to check out some of my other episodes that are posted as well. Those will be more specific to skincare and ingredients and the science of those ingredients. You can follow me at my social media handle, which is I'm known online as the Besthetician. So my Instagram is at the real Besthetician. You can find me as the Besthetician on Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. Formerly Twitter, now X. Connect with me there. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of the Porecast. If you like this episode, be sure to share it with a bestie or on your socials. And if you love the episode, please leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. Your positive feedback means so much to me. You can connect with me at The Real Besthetician on Instagram or The Besthetician anywhere else. And hey babe, this week's Porecast looks like clear with a chance of glow. See you next time.